Happy new and beautiful day, everyone. This is the day that we have made as a collective mind. So, if you do not like what you see, you have to become what it is that you want to see, be, experience, and express, right? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if I can find it. Probably not. Let's see if it comes up this way. Hey, you guys. Let's see. I'm seeing if I can try to find, if I can send that I am live. Which I wish it was a little bit easier to be able to do it. But it's not, so sometimes I'm able to do it and sometimes I'm not, so I'm gonna give it one more try. Nope. Nope. And no. Wow. I see everything except what I want. Am I on the right channel? Let me see. I may not even be on the, yeah, I am. Well, not sure as to why it's doing it. But hello, everybody. Happy new and beautiful day. Let's get into it. We're going to start by doing our breath work. All right. And we're going to do today our 626 method. And once again, this is to begin us to start becoming acclimated and regulated in our nervous system. And everything is just a count system in terms of how we inhale, and hold and release. Inhale, hold, and release. And so we inhale through our nose, we hold, and we exhale through our mouth. And what this does, it regulates our nervous system, right? And in the essence of all that, too, it also sends a message to stabilize our energy field as well. Okay, so it does a couple of things, and I'd like to, in the midst of all of that, put out some commands into the essence of how I want to frequencies that I would like to also contain in my energy field when I am stabilizing it. And so therefore, of course, I would like to architect some high energy frequencies in my energy field when I am moving into my breath work. So you also have the ability to do that when you're moving into your breath work. So I want to contain high energy frequencies of that of unconditional love, divine harmony, right? And that, you know, this transmission continue to move in the essence of no distortion in pure tone, okay? And once again, we're going to move in the essence of 626, and that's breathing at 6, count of 6, hold for 2, and exhale through our mouth for 6, right? That's inhale through our nose at 6, right? Hold for 2, and exhale through our mouth, right? At 6, all right? And let us begin. Gratitude, gratitude. That was beautiful. I'm grateful. Well, hello there, golden sugar. Indeed, supreme multidimensional day. Indeed, it is. I'm so divinely grateful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here, beautiful. Thank you for being here. Gratitude for your presence. I am so divinely grateful to have you, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to try this one more again to see whether or not if it will allow me to, and it is not. I don't understand. So let's do this then. I'm going to do that, and do that, and do that, and we're going to do this. Let's see. Let's see. We got just have to do it the old-fashioned way, because I don't know. And it's still let's see. No, that doesn't. I'm gonna get it. Let's see if that. Let's see if I have. Nope. Mm-mm. Nope, it doesn't. All right, well, if it's possible, can someone send the live to my channel group? Because it's not allowing me to send the live to my channel group for some reason. Not sure as to why, but it's not allowing me to do that. Well, hello, Cosmos. Hola, hola, hey. Hi, King Ali. Well, hello, everybody. I'm trying to send a live to the channel group, but it's not allowing me to send a live to the channel group. But gratitude. Hola, Cosmos. Cosmos is in the building. Gratitude, gratitude for thy presence. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, King Ali? Gratitude, gratitude for your presence, my brother. Thank you for divinely tuning in to my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Wow, wow. I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is. It shall be what it shall be, but we're going to get through it because we are unstoppable, okay? Unstoppable, unstoppable. Unstoppable, unstoppable, unstoppable. We unstoppable around here in these parts of the wood. Well, I'm grateful. Thank you, Kaz. Gratitude, gratitude. Hi, Angelina. Grateful, grateful. Welcome, 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 beautiful. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful to have you. And welcome, beautiful. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Yay! Hercules, Hercules. Can't stop, won't stop, don't stop. Get it. Don't stop. Don't give me that. You know I'm South Florida. I'm South Dade County, Broad County, 305, 954. Don't stop. Get it. Don't stop. Loot. Okay. Hit it, get it. Do the rap. Oh, let me stop. Welcome, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning in. I'm so grateful. All right, as usual, you know that I'm also on I'm also on the YouTube side as well. All right. So if you guys want to show some love also on the YouTube side, IG side, the link to my YouTube channel, which is also Divine Words of Wisdom Official, is in the bio of my profile on Instagram. So all you have to do is go on there and click and go, and voila, you shall be there. And guess what, you guys? I got a good line up for today to give some clarity on how this little structure go in terms of how I understand it. And I'm going to express it and explain it to the best of my ability and in my essence of articulation. So that we can start understanding how to build. We're going to build a bill. Build a bill. How to architect, and how to put it together. How you want to experience and express the reality, and what kind of energy you want to express it in. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do We're gonna do it. All right, we're gonna do it. And once again, y'all already know this is how I understand my now moment in divine remembrance. I'm gonna try not to be a little thugalicious today. I'm gonna try to be a little studious today, you know. But if that thug come out, it ill with ill, okay? Y'all just know that this is how we roll. That's what it is. How we roll. That's what it is. That's what it is. Just how we roll. That's what it is. You know, a little thug come out. That's just how I go. All right. But I'm gonna try to keep it cute. Okay. I'm gonna try to keep it cute. All right. But I'm gonna have to go ahead and get my disclaimers out there. Of course, gotta CYA. This is how I understand my now moment. All right. I'm just out here doing my thing. How I rock and roll. Not here to tell y'all what to do. Y'all done wrote me in y'all narrative. So y'all higher self already knew what it was doing when it hired me. It hired me, okay? Your higher self say, I'm hiring pie. We want pie, okay? Your higher self hired pie, okay? Okay? Your higher self hired pie. So here I is, all right? That's why you're here. Your higher self hired pie. That's why you clicked on the link. That's why you're here. Okay? All right. So, I'm only here to give you guys the illuminated breadcrumbs that you hired me for, because you knew that you didn't want to be told what to do. That's why you came here. Okay? You ain't the type to be told what to do. That's why you ain't really been trying to keep no job. And if you is on the job and you been on the job for as long as you been on the job, you cringe every time them son of a bitches told you to do something. Deep down inside, buddy love, that shit got on your every last nerve. It struck a nerve when they told you what to do, okay? Right? It struck a nerve, right? It struck a chord, okay? That thing is a brown. Every time they told you to do something, brown, got on your every last brown. And you was like, Ninja, I know what to do. You ain't got to tell me what to do. And I've been doing this for 25 years. What the hell? You Johnny come lately. Yeah, you still wet behind the ears, Ninja. Okay? So, you one of them types, all right? So we already know, okay? So that's the thing. So if you come across this live either now or 10 years from now, or whatever the case may be, all right? Okay, cause say bingo, look, okay? If you coming across this live now or 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we already knew, okay? So I'm only here to live, illuminate the breadcrumbs, right? Because you hired me, okay? You hired me, okay? Your higher self hired me to remind you, okay? All right. Hey, Mr. Overhead. Gratitude for your presence, my beautiful friend. You going to YouTube? Gratitude, my brother. Gratitude. I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Always grateful. So you hired me. So that's why I'm here. Okay, Thug Life. Right? To remind you to choose you. Okay? And that's all I'm doing is exampling of what that looked like. Okay? Not here to tell you what to do, but I am giving you something to think about. All right? That's all I'm doing. It's just giving you guys something to think about. Hey, Mr. Overhead on the YouTube side. Grateful. Thank you. Right? And the next thing, any content creator, celebrity, or anybody for that matter that I speak upon on this platform, in this transmission, right? All information is heavily, heavily alleged, for I was not there to account or attest any information that has been placed out there for public consumption. I'm only utilizing the information to use as an example or make reference to what I may be speaking upon in this transmission, as an association to assimilate, as an example, a reference point. But anything outside of that is all heavily, heavily alleged, right? I wasn't there. It could be not. I don't know. So it is heavily, heavily alleged. And last but not least, I'm source. So to judge anybody is to judge for self. All right. So we move here on the premise of divine unconditional love without being absorbed. Okay. It's all equality. All right. To judge me, to judge you, to judge you, to judge me. So there's no judgment over here. It's all 0 point when it comes to that modality. All right. So we move in divine unconditional love. All right. All right. So now, as you guys can see the title, all right, I do got notes. I be trying. We gonna get there one day. Somewhere over the rainbow. All right, we gonna get there one day. So if I just continuously act like I'm gonna do it, then maybe one day I'll do it. Okay? We're going to act like it. We're going to stay studious. We're going to put it out there in the atmosphere that one day it's going to be, it's going to get there. We're going to get there. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. All right? All right. So the name of the title is, we going to do two things. Okay, let me keep it in mind. My grandbabies is here. It was a half a day of school today, but one wanted to go to aftercare. So I still got to leave to go pick up. That's right, Mr. Over. Somewhere over the rainbow. You know, I'm a rainbow girl. You see my rain? See my rain? Rainbow. Yeah, I'm a rainbow girl. All right. How the dimensional selves express and the knowing of the program you. So we finna kick it. And if I have to do another live, let me tell y'all, okay. If I have to do another live, right? Thank you, Cos. If I have to do another live, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you how my family got down with me. But guess what? Today Friday, so they better not get jiggy with me. Because I told them it's 3 bathrooms in this house, okay? All of them got tubs and showers, okay? They had the mitigated guard told me that I stopped them from bathing. I stopped them from sleeping. I just stopped them from doing their normal routine. And this is a 4-bedroom house with 3 full bathrooms. And this one bedroom stopped the whole show. Now, you know, they full of SH, shut your mouth, okay? Right? They want to be starting something. They got to be starting something. I said, you want to be starting something. You got to be starting something. Come on now. They better stop with me. They better stop with me. They better stop with me because I'm going to go third. I'm going to go 3D. Okay? Okay, I feel okay. They better stop with me. They was like, they was trying to come in on my frequency, right? They was trying to come in. They were trying to come in on my field, right? They was trying to come in on my field, but they couldn't come in on my field. They was trying to interrupt my field. You saw how many times they were trying to interrupt my field, and they couldn't interrupt the field. So they waited till the transmission was done, right? They love my energy. Yes, they wanted a piece of the pie. They wanted a piece of pie, right, Mr. Overett? Mr. Overett said they love your field on YouTube side. They wanted a piece of the pie, right? So I'm like, you can't have another piece of the pie. Cause y'all are scrap, y'all are static. Y'all gonna come up in here and y'all gonna interface with the because it's y'all that static. Okay, y'all cannot come up in here. All right. So they went good until the end of the live. Then they didn't hear me no more because I was doing the meditation. I was doing the breath work. That's when they start throwing that static in there. They calling. They start calling and everything. Right. They start calling. Okay, well, we're moving on up. They want to move on up too, but they got too much static. They better get rid of that static. But we're going to explain all that today. We're going to bring some clarity up in this mug today. We finna understand the dimensional self. We're going to understand the program self, right? Finally got a piece of the pie. Yes, they did. But look how they, okay, they wanted a piece of the pie. But look what consciousness they chose to get the piece of the pie. Okay? We're going to go there today. So the consciousness that they chose to get a piece of the pie was chaos and confusion. They want a piece of the pie, but what consciousness level did they choose to get the piece of the pie? Chaos and confusion. What 3D? There you go, cause. Cause is A. Cause is the A. Cause is in the front of the class. Cause is in the front of the class. They wanted a piece of pie. They wanted a piece of me. Okay? They enjoyed it. They was hearing all that high frequency going on in here. They wanted a piece. They wanted a piece of that pie, right? But what level of consciousness did that they only knew how to get a piece of the pie? Okay? Yeah, your hand raised. All right. We can start using how y'all call it, emojis, okay? You can use emojis up in here, up in here, up in here. You can use emojis up in here. They wanted a piece of the pie. So out of a 4-bedroom house with 3 full baths, this is the only room that they could have went to sleep and took a bath. And it ain't like my bathrooms nasty. They all clean. So it ain't like one you pick, choose, and refuse. Okay, so they refused the other 2 bathrooms. Okay, and only wanted to use the one that I was in. Now, granted, mine is a little bit bigger. You know, it's a little bit more spacious, but still, it's still had a tub, a shower, sink, a toilet. It ain't like it ain't nice. Hell, one of them is a Jack and Jill. Okay? 2 sinks and everything. So it's not like you still have some amenities. It ain't like it was lacking. Okay? So but guess what? If I have to come back and do another live, I want to see what kind of piece of the pie they gonna want tonight. Cause it's gonna be on and popping. And yes, y'all gonna get a Cardi B. Y'all gonna get a Cardi B display, okay? Y'all gonna hear it, cause these walls are thin. When they built this house, they went beyond China with these sheetrocks, honey. What they call it, sheetrocks or whatever they call these walls. The old days they call it sheetrock. I don't know what they call it now. But honey, baby, these walls are paper thin, okay? They ain't built nothing solid about these walls, honey. You can't do nothing up in this house. You're gonna have to put a muzzle on your mouth. Gotta hold it all in, okay? Okay. Keep it low. Low. You gotta keep it low, okay? Can't let them know, cause baby, you gotta keep it inside. Gotta keep it all deep down inside, but look, honey, cause you gonna walk out and everybody gonna know all your business, which y'all did, okay? But yeah, so they gonna tell me they had something to say. All right, they had something to say and everything, and I'm like, okay, y'all tripping, y'all really tripping, cause so that frequency, and the reason why density is so attracted to high frequency, because remember, they're choosing that program, but Remembrance love it, cause that's the true them. The reality of the density is so strong. The operation that they're operating from is the program of how to respond, right? So that's why density is really so attracted to high vibrational beings, because you are reminding them of an aspect of themselves that they don't remember, but deep down inside, oh, it's gonna make me cry. Oh, this is the multidimensional you. So I just shifted from that part to the love part. Just emotional roller. Emotional roller coaster. All right, so you reminding them of something that they can't remember. You know how they say sometimes when people are in, what is that, dementia or something like that, or they're going through I know damn well. Thank you, Mr. Overhead, my beautiful friend. Kaz said, I know damn well my frequency is high and I see they love me. Yes, like, but you got to remember when they're in the program and they're in survival and they see your light and they see that you're luminous and different things of that nature, you're reminding them of something that they can't they can't remember, but they can feel it, but they can't attune to it because they're the program got them so hooked and locked, got them so locked in. It's like you fighting. It's like basically you fighting for your life. If maybe it feels like I can remember being in a space of anger. Like in my experience, I was like, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? This ain't it. But different people cope with it in different ways. Okay. But they wanted a piece of me. But I could clearly and cogently see that the energy of them. Now they may not be conscious of it, but here go my mama knocking on the door, wanting a basket. Here go Clifton wanting to give me food. That's my husband. Then he wanting to give me something to eat. Okay. Now everybody know don't disturb me when I'm doing a live. Everybody know don't disturb me. The rules have been set. Everybody know do not disturb me when I'm doing a live. It is clear and cogent. I don't want nothing. I ain't even about to get up and pee. Don't disturb me. I don't want no food. I don't want no oxygen. I don't want to don't give me nothing. And hell, my phone will let me know if the house is on fire because we got ADT. That's about the only time. My phone will let me know if the house is on fire. Hell, if I'm in the house, it'll let me know. Okay? Do not disturb me. So, everybody know. So, but the energy now that I understand energy, they wanted a piece of the frequency. That's a remembrance. I'm not thirsty. I still got my little drink and everything. Do I have my drink? I ain't got my drink, y'all. Oh, snap. Well, I'm going to be thirsty today. Normally, I have my little drink, but I ain't got my drink. But I normally have my little drink or whatever the case may be. Okay? But I will turn on this fan because I got the windows open. I got the windows open. I will turn this fan. I ain't got no sip. I ain't got no drink. So I ain't got my drink. Right? So the frequency was so high vibrational and they heard me laughing and enjoy, it was just so high vibrational that the energy, not the person, not the program, because the program is going to respond how it was going to respond. Yeah, mama came, my husband came, everybody was trying to get a piece of pie. They were trying to get a piece of pie. But the energy, the remembrance energy was coming in like, I remember these codes. They just wanted to be, it just wanted to be in the energy. But it came as in form. It came in form as chaos and confusion. So because now I have drawn a line that you cannot come in my field of energy in chaos and confusion, the answer was no. You cannot come in form as chaos and confusion. You cannot enter my field of energy in chaos and confusion. You got to come correct. So the answer was no. You cannot enter my field in chaos and confusion. Not in that energy. Not in form. You cannot enter my field in chaos and confusion. So the answer is no. That is not my chosen reality. But y'all gonna learn something today with me. If y'all stick around long enough, y'all gonna remember. Remember, y'all hide me. Your higher self hide me. You wouldn't be here if your higher self hide me. Hey. Eyes here. All right. But I just wanted to put that out there because this is so relative to what we're going to talk about today. Okay? Hey, Angelina. Hey, beautiful. It is so it's so relevant to what we're going to be talking about today. So, if you don't get it, that's okay. Because you're going to attune. Okay? Because I'm going to talk a lot about it. Okay? Because or whatever. So now I am going to read from my notes and everything so that you can get a base. But before I read from my notes, I'm going to fly. I'm going to fly solo first so that y'all can hear my authenticity. Okay? Y'all can hear from my authenticity. Okay? So there's a program you, there's a knowing you. And I want to give you guys a contrast so that you can know what is the program and what is you. Okay? How to know the difference between the program you and the knowing you. Okay? Okay. Now, I'm not talking about the external beings. I'm not talking about the people that are outside of you or whatever the case may be. I'm talking about you. How can you differentiate the program you and the knowing you? Now, 9 times out of 10, the knowing you is going to be polar opposite than that to the program you. Okay? So when you ask yourself a question, right? Do you like working? What that answer gonna be? No. Do you like paying bills? What that answer gonna be? No. Okay. It's really gonna be kind of somewhat clear and cogent. All right. Now, I'm going to move into a different circuit because those things are kind of somewhat concise, clear, and cogent. All right, let's say you go to the doctor. You're not feeling well. Okay? Kai said, hell no. All right? So let's say you go to the doctor and you're not feeling well. And the doctor, you have an issue and he get you to feeling better. Okay? He get you to feeling better and everything. But there's something that comes inside of you and say, okay, he gives you some medication to take. Okay? He gives you some medication to take. All right? And you start taking the medication. But then there's something that is inside of you that says, don't take this medication no more. Okay? There's something that said, there's something that out of the clear blue sky, ain't nobody on your left, ain't nobody on your right. It just out of nowhere. Something just tells you, don't take it anymore. But you got the pill bottle. You obviously back at you obviously feel you're feeling better, and you're thinking that it's because of what you did in the third density that got you back up to par. The program got you back up to par. So you must continue. Right? But your knowing self say, okay, that's the least the program could do, because the program was what got, you allowed the program to got you sick. That's the least the program could do, is get you back up to par. Or at least you think that it's the program that got you back up to par. But now I'm saying, don't do it. What are you going to do? Are you going to listen to your knowing self, or are you going to listen to the program? Now, let me do a disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an MD. I ain't giving no medical advice. I ain't here to tell nobody what to do or how to be. This is how I understand my now moment. You do as what your knowing and your internal self, what you pick, choose, refuse, whatever dimensional self tells you to do is your choice. I ain't here to tell you what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you something to think about. That's all. It's your choice. Okay, that's it. Differentiating between knowing and program. Okay? It's all energy at the end. In my understanding of how I understand my now moment, it is energy. When in the knowing you is always going to be that voice within. The program you is going to always be something that you were told to believe in. Outside of that, you're going to always hear that voice within that say, nope, don't do that. And it's going to be like, do you want to do that? And if that answer, you answer that, nope, that's not what I want to do. That's the true you. I'm not talking about what everybody else is on the outside telling you to do. I'm talking about what you're telling yourself. I'm not talking about nothing else. I'm talking about you understanding what is programming you and what is the knowing you, the true you. How are you understanding the true you and the program you? What differentiates the true you and the program you? Now, I'm going to get into it, and it's going to be some more clear and concise, but I want to give you guys something that is more associative and assimilative, right? So that you can begin to be able to associate when you can hear that voice. Because a lot of times we don't pay attention to the attuning of the truth of ourselves because the program kicks in. There was a guy, well, I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to get nobody into that vibration. But there are a lot of narratives. There are a lot of stories that are out there. And it's really, truly what you attune yourself into vibrationally. And we're going to talk about, once again, vibrational containers. But we're going to speak from a dimensional self in terms of how you are creating your reality so that you can understand vibrational containers in the creation of your reality. We're going to get into that. Okay? But we first got to understand, what have we allowed ourselves to program our states of being in so that we can understand the creational value of how that came to be. So if you don't understand, overstand how you are programmed and be able to differentiate the knowing you and the programmable you, then you're not going to understand how the creation actually came into part of how you are experiencing what you have created. Now, do you guys understand, overstand what I just said? Now, I'm not saying that, how can I say? Anything that is not in its organic state is altered. Okay? So, if it's not from nature, and it took nature in order for Tylenol, Advil, it took nature in order for Tylenol, Advil, and any other thing to be made, that means that, yes, it has properties of nature, but that Tylenol now is in its altered state. The program you is in its altered state. Okay? So, although it's not to say that it's not going to work, because it came from source of itself that is pure. So it came from a pure leaf, it came from a pure tree, it came from a pure oil, it came from a pure tone. But in order for it to be made, it had to alter its state. So it altered its state in order for it to become what it is. So now you're taking an altered state of something that was pure. So now what and I have to be very careful with my words, but I want you guys to do, okay. Before I go any further, do you guys understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Because this is a very, I'm teaching, placing you in a tone of remembrance, that to which is choosing to operate in purity, and that is choosing to operate in its altered state. So the reason why you have pills and medical and all of that stuff is because that this dimension is choosing to experience itself in an alternate state of being. That's why everything is alternate, that to which it is. Right, there you go. Cause said he's seeing it from a molecular level, right? That's why when I come on the lives, I say I am choosing to express in pure tone, not that to which is altered, because pure tone is remembrance. The other stories are layered because it's still altered. Okay? It's not that it's bad. It is how the divine of itself has chosen to experience itself. So for those who are choosing remembrance tones, you got to understand, in contrast, thyself, what alternate tones sound like, so that you will know pure tone. So that you can begin to recognize the pure tone of who you are. Remembrance. You're going to remember it anyway. You see how they was busting my door down just to get in here. You remember pure tone. They heard something. They heard them. They remember something. They remember something. Hearing it. What is it? What is it? They wanted it. But the only way they knew how to come into the experience was in chaos. So they had to put on a whole nother robe. If you want to come in my, because I drew the line, Cause laughing, Mr. Owen showed me some love because I hit them octaves. I ain't do no Mariah Carey now. She what? She break the glass. I ain't at that C1 or whatever the hell they call it. I ain't at that octave now, I'm still a little alto around here. I told you I got that bass. I got that bass. I ain't. Okay. Okay, and God's over here God's like, yes, I still hear a little thug. Yeah, because I'm an alto, I chose the mid-range. I chose the mid-range because I can't give up that thug, okay? I say I'll go neutral. I don't know if I can go that high. I ain't giving up that low. I'll go alto. I'll go between the bass and the soprano. That's about as far as I go. Okay, I go in the middle. Okay, I go in the middle. Right? Oh gosh. But yeah, so when that's why I say I choose to move in the essence of the pure tone. Okay, the pure tone. So it's not that it's bad. It's not that it's bad or good. It is how the divine is choosing to operate in the consciousness, right? So the consciousness at this dimensional level is in an alternate state. So therefore your medication is going to be altered. The experience is going to be altered. The perception is going to be altered. But when the essence of the consciousness, even though it only knows how to express in the alternate state, so you got to now train how consciousness experiences you. Because when it comes into the essence of the remembrance tone, it wants to robe itself and comes and experience it's in your space. Because now remembrance is coming into the equation, you got to draw the line and be like, no, you ain't coming into my field all dirty with that chaos and confusion. Put on a different frequency band, and then you could come into my field. But you ain't coming in no field with no dirty, no mud on your feet. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't coming. I'm just talking like, you know what I'm saying. You coming in all dirty. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just putting it like that. They ain't really dirty. But it's like you ain't cross-contaminating my field with that, put on a different role. You understand what I'm saying? Put on a different level of consciousness or put on a different state of awareness. Because I know if you want to end, because you remember, you feel the love in the frequency. Because that is the true you. You got me. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Overett. Right. You feeling it. Because you know. It's like it's there. It's deep down inside, buddy love. You got them codes. Right? But the only way you know how to express. All right, so when somebody is angry and they rageful, they're expressing love. And you're like, how are they expressing love? They're expressing love in chaos and confusion because of the consciousness. The consciousness is expressing in an alternate state. So that's the only way that they know how to express love is at density. Okay? Hi, Nature Wolf. Hey, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful. And welcome. Thank you for being here. Yeah, that's the way they only know how to express love is because of the consciousness hat that they're offering themselves in the expression, and that's the density of the survival self, right? And how it's chaos, it's static, it's confusion, it's static. So that's love expressed in density. So when it doesn't the consciousness that it has on that's the way that it knows how to express love is in chaos and confusion, distorted version of love, the alternate version of the true self. So it's like it's polarized, it's polar opposite. So if you flipped and reversed it and put it in a higher mind, it'll be the same thing, totally posed, totally flipped. You'll look at that person and be like, is that the same person? It'll be a 360 degrees, which is 9. Experience complete. Polar opposite. Poles flipped. Right? The expression of love will be completely different. That whole angry, aggressive person shifting consciousness to a ninth dimensional consciousness, that same energy shifted, transmuted into the ninth dimensional self, will be, the poles will flip. If you could visualize that and see that in real time, that same person. All right, to give you an example, you guys ever seen that movie Shrek, right? And you know when Shrek and Fiona give they first love kiss or whatever, and they and they lift up off the ground and they spin around, right? So imagine a person being angry and aggressive, right? At the third dimensional self, conscious self, right? And they start off like that, and then they start transforming energetically, and the consciousness starts changing, and you're starting to see the transformation of them dimensionally changing in consciousness energetically. And so by the time the consciousness shift energetically and you start seeing the transformation, and it allows you to see them transform that energy in form, and you're visually seeing that transform, and they get to the 9th octave energetically, they'll be a totally different person because of the shift in energy and consciousness. And you'll be like, all right, to give you an example, when Jesus, right, took the it was the animal, the guy, he was mad, sick, head no good. Mad, sick, head no good. He was crazy, head no good. Head no good. Say mad, sick, head no good. Head no good. And then he said, cast the demon out. So he shifted the consciousness to which the demon resided. And he raised the consciousness to that to which the demon did no longer resided. He elevated him in consciousness to where the demon vibrationally could no longer be sound. And he shifted him in consciousness and say, okay, walk and sin no more. Well, you're not really a sinner, but he just shifted the level of consciousness. And that's really truly the essence of casting the demon out, is to elevate vibrationally and shift the level of consciousness to that where you're no longer vibrationally sound, to that to which the alternate state, to where that aspect of being of self reside can express. All right, now, do y'all understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Because there's no distortion on this side. It's only remembrance on this side. Are y'all ready? Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Y'all ready? Okay? I don't know. What's up on IG side? I got more people on IG side than I do got on YouTube side. And IG a little dry today. Do I need to go get my sip? Hey, Golden Sugar. Thank you, Golden Sugar. We evolve, right? All right, because this your sixth dimensional self talking to you. Ain't no I'm not choosing to express in 5D. Let me tell you what 5D is. I'm gonna give you guys what 5D is. Y'all, I know cars stay ready. Y'all, cars stay ready. Cars, Mr. Over, we day ones, and y'all stay ready. But I'm talking about the other folks. What's up? Okay? 5D is the heart, 6D is the architect. Okay? But we're gonna go past 6D today. Okay? We're gonna go past 6D today. We're gonna go past how we're gonna create that. We're gonna move. We're gonna move on up to the east side, to the deluxe apartment in the sky. Oh, no, to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Y'all hide me. Y'all hide me. Sing it for thank you, Focus Frequency. Welcome to the party. I'm just playing. Welcome. Thank you for divinely tuning in. I'm so divinely grateful to have you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, so when he said cast the demon out and walk in sin no more, he just basically raised his frequency to that to which where the alternate state to where his demon self, demon time, his alternate state to that to which we perceive as demon, didn't have any viability to be able to be expressed. And it's not to say that demon, let me tell you something, the way that they made demon look, demon ain't that. There's a lot of demons that look real nice around here. Demon time ain't nothing like no monster or nothing like that or whatever. Golden Sugar say gratitude for this piece of the pie. I'm grateful. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you. That's that they added that element of fear frequency to make you think. That was a fear frequency to give you an idea of what fear frequency looked like is when in Men in Black, and they took the fear frequency out in Men in Black. If you were paying attention, they actually took fear frequency out. In Men in Black, when he shot Tiffany in the head, they took fear frequency out. They took fear frequency out of the container. That ain't what you want. They try to show you subliminally. But by that time, the fear, they already knew that it was going to go over people's head because survival frequency had taken over the game. So that was going to go over people's head. But they took fear frequency out of the container because when the monsters was hanging on the tree, and they showed the program. They were showing you how people are programmed, but they showed where Will Smith wasn't programmed. Will Smith went within. He went within. And then that's when what's his name said, why did you feel little Tiffany deserve to get shot? Because he went within. He said, little Tiffany, she an 8-year-old girl walking around with some quantum physics book. And when I looked at, he didn't fear the monster because the fear container, he took out the fear. He wasn't in fear, right? He was an evolved being. They hired Will Smith because he did not contain the survival frequency. He didn't have no fear. He ran down a snarf squaw, or whatever that thing, and he was running on. He had the agility. He was using his architect self and shit. He could leap boundings over a single bound. He ran down. What did the guy say? He ran down a shabbat. whatever they call it. He ran down to Shamaskawaj. That gotta prove something. He leaped over bounds of the buildings. He was operating from of a six-dimensional self. The architectural self. Okay? He had done evolved in form. So when you are moving from that perspective and different things of that nature, but like I said, most people that went over. Why y'all think Will Smith kids is the way that they are? Come on now. Y'all, I've been new. Them kids, oh shit. I was gonna say something. In love though. In love, cause yeah. Yeah. In beautiful love. But I'm gonna leave that alone because I don't want that to be misconstrued. Okay? But when he shot little Tiffany, okay, yes. Right? When he shot little Tiffany, he said little Tiffany 8 years old. And he said, look up brother up there, he was a monster, quote unquote. He just trying to get his muscle on. Right? And then the monster over there with the tissue, he's like, he got a cold. You know what I'm saying? Trying to work out, got a cold. But little Tiffany, 8 years old, middle of the night with all these monsters, walking around with a quantum physics book. She look like she about to start some shit. Reverse polarity. Got you afraid of something that's you not supposed to be afraid of, and what you supposed to be afraid of, you ain't afraid of. Right? Reverse polarity. Because you have forgotten to listen to your intuition. The knowing you. And you're listening to the program. So the program got you afraid of the monsters and not afraid of a little girl. Yeah, and he even said a little white girl. This little white girl, the program, I heard what he said. The little white girl, this little white girl about 8 years old, little Tiffany around here walking in the middle of the night with all these monsters with a quantum visible. I'm about to say she is, or do I owe little Tiffany an apology? Now, I'm almost verbatim. I'm pretty close, but that's paraphrasing, okay? About a paraphrase, okay? The knowing self and the programmed self, okay? If he was programmed, he would have did with all the military. It was a whole reason why they put a military. The military was trained to program. Boom, 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 boom. They killed all the monsters and left little Tiffany, okay? Because that's the program. They was trying to show you the program you, and then the intuitive you, the knowing you. Okay? And I'm just bringing things that is your common everyday thing that we just took for entertainment, that was truth in plain sight, that we never really kind of put associative to assimilate, but it was always there. But because we were in survival, we were already hooked on phonics in survival. We never, it was, right? Including, well, I knew it was something, but I couldn't put the peanut butter to the jelly yet. But it was starting to fuse. I knew it was something. But it didn't quite fuse yet. Okay, but it's fused now. Okay. All right. I need you guys to let me know where you guys are at. So I need you guys to drop me some 15s in the chat to let me know if y'all are with me so far in the knowing you and the program you. Understanding of the knowing you and the program you. All right, Golden Sugar got me going on the IG side. Mr. Ovi got me going on the YouTube side. All that matters now, and 15. I know that's right, Mr. Cosmos. Cosmos got me going. I got me going. All right. And I see some other people that are here, but they ain't said nothing yet on the IG side. I still want to give you a chance. Okay, so what do I need to do over so that you guys can understand? You want me to make another example? Okay. All right. I don't know if I could. Do I got another movie? Because I about the only movie. Focus, frequency. Yes, please. All right. So the alternate experience, right? The alternate experience is the chosen, the consciousness in the third dimensional self is experiencing an alternate experience of itself. The alternate experience of itself is that of which even another Will Smith movie, yeah, Will Smith do have a few of them. Which is Hancock, where it shows where the divine feminine and the divine masculine could not operate at the same capacity in the three-dimensional self. So that's why the divine feminine had to be in the fifth dimensional self or separated, and the divine masculine had to be in the third dimensional self in order for it to, but that's a whole, I don't want to confuse anybody with that. So it's not that the woman in the third dimensional self was demoted. She was operating from a higher dimensional self. But that's a whole nother different element of conversation. Y'all want me to talk about that? I don't want to confuse anybody because they're never separated. They're just operating from different dimensional selves, different levels of consciousness. But they were never separated. It's just they were operating at different levels of consciousness. So even the frequency band was operating from a different level of consciousness. The frequency band of the divine feminine was operating from a different level of consciousness. So to give you an example of how the frequency band was operating from a different level of consciousness, and it doesn't have anything to do with race or anything like that. Reflections of one another, right? It was like, for instance, the sciences, because people tend to think that divine feminine frequency is synonymous to that of an avatar, a specific avatar, and it is not. It's not. So I digress. Now, in the expression, in the third dimensional expression, in the container here, where in the illusion of separation, they animated it in that way, where the divine woman is assumed as the divine feminine, and masculine is male. That's the container that it is assumed in the alternate mind. But you remember, that's what the third density is. Alternate. It's alternate. You're moving from an alternate perceptionary measure. It's an alternate perceptionary measure. It's not pure tone. It's an alternate perceptionary measure. That's why spirituality can wear many robes, because it's an alternate perceptionary measure. That's why beings can be, there's so many diversities of where beings can be so many different things, because it's an alternate perceptionary measure. You can be many different, it's alternate, everything, the perceptions, it's programming, it's all. The thing about third density right now in distortion is the harmonics. It's misaligned. And so the alignment, in order for it to become harmonized again, the illusion codes are now being dissolved. So that's why, you're starting to see a lot of things, fall into the fire, because the illusion codes are starting to dissolve. But I have to ask myself, sometimes I have to ask myself, like, because I see changes, but I'm like, is it, because you have to understand that you are the architect, depending on where you are expressing from, you are the architect of your reality. So your world may look different than that to which someone else's world look like. So my world is going to look different than your world. Your world may be full of chaos and confusion, and my world does not look like chaos and confusion. Many worlds. And that's where, unless you decide to share worlds with other beings, when you share experiences and different things of that nature, but, yeah, the higher self is always evolved. And then it sends the beacon down into form so that it can experience the evolution that it has chosen into form. The higher aspect of self is always chosen. And then that choice then matriculates energetically into form. Focus frequency says the spirit has to evolve before the physical body, right? The physical body is the ladder. Form. It takes form. Form is the ladder thing. Density is the ladder thing. So everything is in ether. Everything is in darkness. That is what that actually means. It's in darkness before it comes to light. But a lot of times, what people think that darkness came, they think that it's separate, but it's not separate. It's just that it sits in darkness. It sits in darkness before Source decides to place it in light form, so that it can see itself. It's not that it's separate of itself. It's just that it's infinite. It's just that it's all sitting there until it decides that it wants to see itself in that way. And so when it decides that it wants to see itself in that way, it illuminates itself so that it can see itself and experience itself through illumination and project itself. So if it wants to see itself in form, then that's when the essence of itself in spirit brings itself into where it can see itself through illumination. and see itself and project itself, project that illumination in form. So the matriculation comes down from the darkness into the light, projected light into projected light into form. Form is where density begins. Otherwise, you're a star, or you're a cluster, or you're, a galaxy, or you're just, but when, in that way, but when it wants to see itself in a projected form or an animation, projected form, illuminated animation, then this is where you get what we see here now. Projection, these eyes instead of this eye. But it's not really all that complicated. It's just the layers, the many, many different layers, the many, many different stories. And the thing about it is, it's beautiful. It's beautiful stories. It's beautiful stories out there. But you just don't want it to get lost in the sauce. Tone don't, pure tone. You just got to keep pure tone in the mist. That's all I'm here for. See that? Just keep pure tone in the mist. Pied Piper. Just keep pure tone in the mist. But let me get into some of the things, because I want to get into the dimensional selves and how the dimensional selves actually express. So what he was saying about the spirit has to evolve before the physical body, right? And the evolution of the spiritual self does evolve. It doesn't really, it does evolve into the spiritual self. And it has you have a dimensional self that you can even attune to while inform how you want to experience and express. So the architecture, focus frequency, if there is no pain, there is no story. That's a choice. Depending on what frequency container you want to compile to create that reality. Because as a visionary myself in terms of creation, there is a reality where there's pure bliss. And there are realities after experiencing survival. Okay, so tell me this. Why is it that you feel that after experiencing survival experiences at this degree, that the divine would not give you a polar opposite experience? Because this is your pain experience, if you want to look at it like that. But then the thing about it is, it's both. There is a polar opposite experience to that to which we've experienced here. That is pure bliss. Vibrationally. As a matter of fact, you can actually experience it in form right now. There are beings that are in form right now that is not experiencing survival right now on this planet, on this plane. Now they're in a different plane of being, right? You don't need anything, but that I digress. I can't tell you. But we're going to talk about the dimensional selves. In the scarcity mindset, yes, the programming have one to feel as if they need something. The program has one to feel that they want something. The program has one to feel that that they are in lack of something. That is the alternate state of the true self. The program tells you that there is a war, but then the the true self is saying that that's a rumor. It's like the true self tell you, well, I know what the program say, but that's a whole rumor out there. Just saying. Okay. But for those that are deeply embedded into the program that has chosen to experience the alternate version of self, which is the third dimensional consciousness, because the consciousness, Kai says, I expressed this before. There are some that see no scarcity, not the frequency, not their frequency. Right? They are not. They don't see because they're not attuned to the essence of understanding themselves yet at a level of consciousness out of the third dimensional self. So they're still experiencing the third dimensional self, because there are versions of self that expansionally they're still experiencing the alternate state, but they may not be subscribed to the distorted aspect of self. So okay, so the third dimensional self can have two versions in the alternate state. So the original third dimensional self is the alternate state of being without distortion. Okay? That means you're experiencing your alternate state. But you're not, the shadow doesn't have anything to hold on to, because you have the ability to say, okay, I don't want to be bound to the program. Like, you're not bounding to the programming of anything. You still have the flexibility to pick, choose, and refuse. You're not becoming hardwired to or misaligned. There is no misaligning. You're still able to still move in the essence of authenticity to a degree. You're not misaligning to the distorted version of self and sacrificing. Okay? You still have an essence of an abundant state of being. To give you an example of what that looks like, let's say, I don't want to use that example, but shit. Damn, I wish I could use a better example. Damn, I don't want to use that example because I ain't trying to start nothing. Okay, so distortion is like, damn, I don't want to use that. Gotta be something better. Okay, so you're 3D. You're operating in your third. You're operating in an alternate state of being. You're operating in an alternate state. So the third dimensional you is like you're moving in an alternate state, but you're not. You're thriving. You're still thriving. You're not feeling anything hard, but then you have someone that comes in and say, oh, now you got to pay for water. Whereas you never used to have to pay for water. Okay? Now you got to pay for lights. Whereas maybe once upon a time you never used to have to pay for lights. Okay? Now you got Instead of like when they said you had bartering, where everybody was thriving through a bartering service, the distortion came in and started buying up everybody's land. Distortion came in and started saying that we creating banks. That's distortion. Systems. Where there was no real need for it. People was thriving without it. And then there was this distortion that came in and altered the state in an more altered state than that to which it was. There was a thriving aspect, and I'm just giving you guys an example of what distortion looked like. It was already moving in an alternate state, but the state that it was moving in an alternate state, people were thriving. But then another aspect came in, a distortion aspect came in and changed the dynamic and altered the state of it, and it became more distorted. It became distorted in a distorted alternate state. And placed that distortion placed the alternate state of being in survival state. Changed the whole frequency band into a survival state of being. Right? So that's what changed the whole dynamic. So that's why we ended up having. So now everybody's under perceptionary measures of moving from a distorted sense of understanding the reality and have normalized it. And it's hard. And it's a heavy perceptionary aspect of being. Well, I'm at a space where nothing was done to us. Everything was done through us. Energy is through us. Because I see myself as energy first. So so in wholeness, I understand that Source wanted to experience itself in an alternate state. I don't see myself separate from the experience. There is no judgment. But in the alternate state, you're correct. In the third dimensional level of consciousness through perception, and how the third dimensional level of consciousness allows us to experience the reality in that way, you are absolutely right to understand the reality in that way, focus frequency. You are correct to understand that, because that is a distorted perceptionary measure to how, and the correct way to understand the reality in that way at that level of consciousness. So you are right. That is the way that you understand it, is how Source wanted to experience it. For you are Source. So you as Source saying that. So if I were to say it like this, you're Source. So Source just said, our own people did this to us. So how I would translate that, I just experienced in my distorted, I just experienced in my lower self my creation of the separation of self, distorting whatever that was distorted in the experience. That's how you translate that in pure tone. I am. I created the distorted version of me to create of myself the illusion of separation to that which I experienced, separation of self. to experience self in the illusion. That's how Source would say it. In wholeness. Hi, Abdul Abdin. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you, Kazi. Thank you. Right? But when you are in the consciousness itself of the third dimensional consciousness, which is experiencing that which is separated of self, then your correct way, how you said it, focus frequency, that is also true. Focus frequency, I say, I like where this is going. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I told you. I told you. By the time I'm done, Mr. Over say, Abdul, yes. Remember we used to say, Mr. Over, abadi, abida, abidi, abida, because I couldn't say it before, and I got better now. Yes. So, yeah, when you put it in that way, it brings clarity, because I move in the essence of divine oneness. I move it in the essence of divine wholeness. I don't move into the illusion of separation. Okay, I don't operate from the essence of the illusion of separation. So, and I understand it in divine, sacred, unconditional love. So the frequency, the frequency container that I operate from, in how I'm choosing to express in these particular transmission is from the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th dimensional level of consciousness, so that one can begin to understand themselves and how they are expressing in the third dimensional level of consciousness, so they can have some sense of contrast of how they are expressing and how they're choosing to express in the third dimensional level of consciousness. If you don't understand how you have architected the how you have constructed, how the spirit has constructed itself to express in third dimensional consciousness, how do you expect to ascend, or how do you expect to know that you have always expressed multidimensionally? There has always been coordinates of creations of the higher dimensional selves, creating, experiencing, and expressing. Okay. Now, I kind of touched on the dimensional selves, and I definitely touched on the knowing and the programming. Okay, and I gave you guys my organic version. Now I'm going to give you my organized version of what that looks like from an organized perspective. But it's similar, but we're going to still get into it. All right. So, as I said, we are remembering our multidimensional selves and how we are expressing through knowing and the program you. And so, how you're going to ravel yourself from the program you is by starting to begin to choose the knowing you. That's another way of taking out of the what is that, uninstalling the programs that you no longer want to experience, by being able to differentiate what is the program and what is the true you. And like I said, I'll give you one more example. I love my organic self. That's why I can. When I was having pains, and I went to the emergency room, and I didn't even know I had fibroids or whatever. I hadn't had a few scans, and they never told me that I had fibroids. And this last time I went and had a scan, they said my uterus was full of fibroids. And I'm like, how do I go from 0 to 100? They said I was like at 98% capacity of fibroids, and I was having pains in my back. I thought I had IBS, okay? Because they never told me that I had fibroids, and I thought I had IBS. So I'm, taking colon cleanse and all this, natural stuff, because I'm more of a naturalist more so than anything. I try to do more natural stuff than pharmaceutical stuff or what have you. Long story short, I did go to an OBGYN just to make sure, right? Like, or whatever. So of course they do another ultrasound or whatever, and of course they confirm that, of course, I have one of the fibroids is, they say it was the size of a 16-week gestation, right? 16-week gestation. And at that time I had what they call it, presidential insurance, right? That I never used. Out of the whole time that I was working, I very, very rarely used insurance. I was not a person that go to the doctor. I was just not that, I'm not that person. All right, so immediately they were scheduling me for surgery to have a hysterectomy, okay? And then of course they were going to throw a fear container in there, that they was going to make sure that the big C and all this other kind of stuff. And I was taking them like, how do I go from 0 to 100? Then now they want to throw me into surgery and all this other kind of stuff. And they like they already tried to schedule me and everything. And everybody, and then the experience now was like, yeah, you need to go, you need to do this, you need to do that, you gotta go. The experience was telling me to go and everything. Everybody around me, family, you need to do it and everything. But everything within me said no. Everything in me said no. And the pressure was real. The pressure was real. Okay? The pressure was real. The experience, because remember now, your family and everybody, because everybody's still on survival. Everybody around me in my energy field, but here me, I'm the more evolved one, right? And my eternal thing, yeah, blood work and stuff like that, yeah, that's, but my ringers was going off, and everything, it wasn't aligning. It just was not aligning. And I said no. I said no. That frequency was like no. And everything in their mama, everything around me was telling me to do that surgery. Patrice, the fear, everything, the fear, everything that I was not, was telling me to do that surgery. The fear, everything that I was not, and that's how I knew I was not aligned, because everything that was telling me, everything that was in it, that I was not, and even though I was in the fire, I was still in the fire, right? That me too. The same things with the hot sauce 19, yeah. Okay. Everything that was in there, the fear. Oh, you better do it, and then oh, is it, and oh, I was like, no. I'm going herbal. I'm going holistic. Because everything that was coming to me in the experience, the chaos, the confusion, and everybody panicking, and then the fear, and all of those fear containers, everything in the frequency. I was in the fire. I still didn't know it at the calibration of energy that I understand it now, but there was that internal thing, that knowing, and then the program. Even though in that time I was still that burning bush that was refusing to be consumed by distortion. See, that's when the time that I was that burning bush, I was that experience had done set my ass on fire. Okay? That experience had done lit me up. I was a whole burning bush. Every time something tried to put me out, it was, instead of they was dumping water on me, it looked like somebody was just dumping more fire on me, and I was getting confused. I'm like, well, hell, is it trying to put me out or keep me on fire? But I refuse to be consumed. Because in my mind, I'm like, how do you go 50 years, 51 years, and never been told in your 50 years post menopause and never had a fibroid to go into 98% full of fibroids? And some say no. And I didn't. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. So you, and granted, a lot can transpire as a result of me making that decision, and I'm okay with whatever transpired as of me listening to my intuition. Okay, I'm good with it. I'm good with whatever translate as a result of that. Yes, I listen to my inner self. But the thing of it is that a lot of beings are, they get consumed by the programming because they don't know how to process the inner knowing of self. Okay? They don't know how to. They don't know how to listen to, because the noise gets so great in the chaos and the confusion, right? Everybody, and your mama, your daddy, I'm telling you, the experience will throw every book out there. It will throw every book out there. What I told y'all the experience they will do. All right, been calling the program a lie. Yeah, when it's no longer, when you have come to the understanding that the experience is no longer a true experience. And what I mean is that you no longer have made it a viable experience that you no longer want to experience, is no longer a true experience. It's only a true experience when you make it true. When you no longer choose it, when it's no longer a chosen experience, it's no longer your true experience. That is when it becomes no longer chosen. When it's no longer a chosen experience, it is going to become severely misaligned. And if you don't listen to the knowing within, the internal self, that's going to be one rough ride. That's going to be one rough ride. Because then you're going to have to surrender. At some point, you're going to surrender. And that's what makes people go back into 0 point. When they have allowed the program to get more like they can't, and so they have to, in love, it's not like how it's being told, the divine of itself will just bring you back gently into sacred love and start in anew. But yeah. So you have to be able to, when you see those containers giving you something that to which you are no longer in, you see that in many people. Yeah. So when you choose self, it's a big choice. It's a big thing to choose self in the third density, because it's still source energy. Source energy is a strong current. That's a strong energy current. All the sources are strong energy current. It's a strong energy current. All right. So the dimensional selves experience and express through the knowing you and the program you. Okay, the dimensional self. So that's your third dimensional self, fifth dimensional self, sixth dimensional self, seventh dimensional self. They experience through the knowing you and the program you. Okay? Both. All right? And like I said, there is in source, there is no right or wrong. And there's source, that's why I say it's source code for everything. So when you hear things like, what's the source? What's the source? What's the source? What's the source? This is the source for everything. What is the source? What is the source of this? What is the source of that? So the source is in everything. Source is in everything because source is, it's the source. Source is in everything. Source, 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 source. The source is in everything. Source is in the cadavers. Source is in the rocks, the trash. Your garbage is source. They can turn garbage into fuel, fossil fuel. Source is in everything. Source code is in everything. That's why you know it's the source of it. That's why I say in the higher mind of source at 0 point, it cancels itself out. That's why there's no hard feeling, because I'm using myself to experience myself. So why am I going to be mad at myself when it's me of myself? Everything cancels itself out. So why am I? It's me. It's of myself that I am experiencing of myself. So it's experiencing itself. So when you understand the dynamic and wholeness, it cancels everything out. It's only when you begin to experience self in the dimensional self vibrationally is now that you begin to have the emotional charge so that you can have expression. So that you can express yourself. Tell me how you want to do, babe. Express yourself. You begin to be able to have expression in the dimensional selves. Vibrational expression. Okay? How do you want to express that tone? Yes, let me be me. Like, you get to express it. Do you want to express that in A minor or B flat? You know what I'm saying? How do you want to express that tone? Vibrational expressions. Okay? You want to express your abundance in extreme, do you want to express your abundance in extreme opulence? Or do you want to express your abundance in extreme poverty? Either way, it's going to be abundant because you are infinite, okay? So you're going to either express it in an abundance of opulence, or you can express it in an abundance of poverty, or you can express it in a midstream vibrationally where it's kind of somewhat in the middle, an essence of somewhere in the essence of neutrality. You have range now. You have expressional vibrational range of how the sacred divine self vibrationally is now choosing to express itself. This is a beautiful story, you guys. Divine remembrance over here, the arc of remembrance. Okay? All right, what time is it? 3:42. Okay. So the program you operates on inherited beliefs. Somebody that told you, or you epigenetics down through lineage, where the copies comes in through your gene copies, right? What you got from your mama, what you got from your daddy, or whatever, kind of like environmental things or what have you, right? Or fear or repetition, okay? Knowing you moves from direct awareness, your experiences and peace within, okay? Now, as I've said, and I've always said, and will continue to say, neither is wrong. Each simply holds a different tone of consciousness, okay? Now, the examples are the program you says, I have to prove my worth. That's the program you. I have to prove it. You got to prove something. The knowing you is that I was worthy before I was even born. I came into this joint worthy. Can't nobody tell me what my worth is. Even if I sat here and did nothing all day, I'm worthy because I'm here. Even if I sat here and crossed my legs and was just sitting here all day, for the fact that I am here and what it took for me to be here just to sit here, I'm infinitely worthy because of my being. My frequency alone makes me worthy. I ain't got to prove nothing to none of y'all motherfuckers, okay? That's the knowing. What you said, Cos said, I ain't got to prove shit. Yeah, okay. I said the other word. Let me get back. I got to clean up. I wash the soap. Cos I ain't got to prove it, okay? All right? Truth be told, there it is, all right? Now, the dimensional expression table is this, okay? The third dimensional self, of course, is survival. It's physical, and then it's also survival, okay? You have the fear comparison, to which I've told you, okay? You have the comparison. I had other words, you was a little cleaner than me, that thugalicious, okay? You have the survival, you have the fear, you have comparison, right? But then when you are knowing in the third dimensional self, okay, you have the consciousness and you have the presence, and then you also have the deliberate action. You just know your intentions are very different because you're moving with intention. You're moving in knowing. You're moving in the tone that to which you truly are. Okay? It makes a big difference. That's why I say you can operate, in two essences in third density. The distorted version and then the pure tone, you still in the alternate state. Okay? Now, the fourth dimensional self is the emotional plane. Okay? The mental emotional plane. Okay? The program aspect of you is reactionary. That's the survival self. That's the distorted version. Okay? Yes, the natural essence is the part that is the alternate state, but it's still without distortion when you move into your natural state. Okay, when you have a natural response. Okay, now the fourth dimensional aspect of self. This is like this is like a condensed version. Like I said, I'm quantum simplified. So this is a quantumly simplified aspect to make it palatable, bite-sized, easily digestible. I'm not into quantum physics where Einstein breaking it down on the board that looks like stuff moving in my brain. I don't know algebra, trigger, menosis, whatever you want to call it. Ain't that a disease? I don't know that. I don't know that stuff. So that gets me drunk when I see it, okay? That's like alcohol. I don't know that stuff, okay? I know what I know, and that's how I'm expressing it. So if you try to put a book in front of my face, I don't know books. Okay, I don't know that stuff. All right, I'm just telling y'all now. So if you want to come and try to test me, I already failed it. Go ahead and put an F on every page of that test. Every digital page, go ahead and put a big old fat F on there, because guess what? I don't know that. All right. The fourth dimensional aspect of self is the emotional and mental consciousness, right? So that's the part of you so when you're reactionary to the third dimensional experience, that is your fourth dimensional you. Okay? That's when the emotional side of you is like angry. Okay? Just authorship. Indeed. Okay? So when you get mad and all this, that's the fourth dimensional consciousness aspect of you. This is what's making you multi-dimensional in how you are experiencing and expressing energetically, vibrationally, and in frequency. Okay? And also, this is what attaches you to the program or the reality. You're emotionally attached to the reality. Okay? So, for instance, when people die, remember they say they go to the fourth dimensional plane and you're emotionally attached to it? There it is. That's why y'all won't let go. Why y'all won't let them people go? There you go. Let them go. Set them people free. I'm just saying. But that's what that really is. Okay? That consciousness aspect of self. And then, it's holding on to the distortion aspect of it when you are actually holding on to that vibrational state in the illusion of separation because you don't realize that it's still you. It's not like they're separate from you or anything like that or what have you. It's just a whole nother conversational piece. But just to give you a quick synopsis of it, a little bit here, a little bit there, whatever the case may be. I know it's probably going over y'all head, but we gonna revisit it. I know I'm gonna find a whole nother way to bring it back into the equation. Somehow or another, it's gonna come back into the equation some way. But to give you guys, a quick synopsis of what that looks like. All right, Mr. Oversay, don't tell me what I can and cannot do, baby. I know that's right. Now, moving into a lighter version of yourself in the fourth dimensional, the third dimensional, fourth dimensional self, the emotional plane of self, is that you just are in observation of the data of self. So that means that your perceptionary measures is not reactive. It's more of an observational or responsive. You pick, choosing, and refusing in terms of what you're going to respond to, more so than what you're going to react to. So you're now more precaution in terms of pick, choosing, and refusing. You're not attaching yourself to realities that you do not want to bind to. Like, so to give you an example, I have a daughter, and she's emotional. She's very emotional, and her emotional is tied to density. So because it's very distorted in nature, I'm very observational because I don't want to entangle with that reality energetically because of how low it can go, right? So I tell you all the time, I put you on plan I put you on block. You can't have my air supply. Go somewhere else and you can get their air supply. And that's 9 times out of 10, they'll find another source of energy. If they can't get no air from you, they're gonna go somewhere else where they can get some air, right? You just don't give them life. You don't give it life. You don't give them your life force to sustain. And then that source is going to look for another host to sustain, because it consumes energy. It needs something to sustain itself. Okay, so you're very more conservative about when you are operating in 3D and you are in the emotional plane in terms of the expression of how you're choosing to emotionally charge the reality. That's your emotional charging space, the fourth dimensional self. So you're now deciding on how you're going to emotionally charge that reality instead of being reactionary. The distorted you is going to be reactionary. But the conscious you, the knowing you, is going to be observatory. And you're going to pick, choose, and refuse how you decide to charge that reality. You ain't going to charge just anything. Okay? You're going to charge what you want. Okay? You ain't going to run up that credit card. Okay? And you're going to be real conservative about what you emotionally charge. So that's the fourth dimensional plane, what you emotionally charge. Okay? All right. The fifth dimensional level of consciousness. They want y'all to be heart-centered so they can still control you. No, I'm just playing. And fifth dimensional level of consciousness, it desires peace, but you still is the distorted version of the fifth dimensional level of consciousness in the distorted mind, because you still have some level of distortion that is there, but because we're still kind of somewhat shifting out of the third dimensional level of consciousness, and this is where the sustaining aspect of the self has the greatest issue, is the nervous system. This is where the nervous system is a little bit wiggly wobbly, because the self-worth is am I really worthy? Am I going to, survive? All I know how to do is work and pay bills out and hustle. You know what I'm saying? So am I really worthy to be able to, is it really true? All I got to do is be myself and I can still, be that millionaire and have an opulent life, and you don't believe that there is a reality where you could just simply be and still have an opulent life, to that which the survival life said that you gotta rob Peter to pay Paul, and you gotta do something strange for a little change, or whatever the case may be, or you gotta do it's a hard knock life. You gotta do you gotta go out there in the entertainment. You got to do, you got to do all these little things. You got to put on mask, education, politics. You got, all of these little lucrative, genre of expressionals. But, it comes with its price, and you might have to do some sacrificing. So, a lot of us, not built like that to go into these particular genres, and then you don't even know if if you get into it, you don't even know if you're going to be successful at it. A lot of times we ain't mentally capacitated to be able to deal with all that comes along with it, so it becomes futile. So that you don't even know if you're worthy. You know what I'm saying? So we deal with a lot of issues of self-worth, and then we go into these jobs and different things of that nature, and sometimes it don't even work out because of other issues that people have and everything like that, trauma bonding with other stuff like that. So worth is a big catalyst in the survival self. So when you get into the fifth dimensional consciousness, that's a big thing. Like, you can't see past the survival self to say that there's a whole other reality where that part of self is dissolved. Where you don't there is a reality where it is just that easy. It's hard to see past the survival self. You can't see it because the survival self. So you have the love and your heart centered, but you are looking like, well, how am I gonna pay these bills? These bills, baby got bills. Can you pay him a telephone bill? Can you pay him? You still looking at the survival state, because that money situation is a real thing with a lot of people. That money situation is a real thing with a lot of people. So it's like, how am I gonna pay these bills? And can I really make money through digital products? Can I really make money just by being myself? Can I really make money just by what I really love to do? Can I really make money by being? Can I really make money by this and that? And I'm gonna get into all of that. I'm gonna get really into all of that and everything. We're gonna understand how this matriculates down. I may have to do another live because I gotta go pick up my grandbaby. But we're gonna get into all of that. Okay? So you desire the peace, but you doubt your worth. Okay? But in the undistorted self of the fifth dimensional consciousness, this is where you are now being able to embody the fifth dimensional aspect of being. You're holding the tone. You're sustaining the frequency and the light code of the tone. You have embodied the compassion and the ease of the dimensional self, meaning that I'm worthy of being in this space, and I ain't got no problem. Yeah, come on. I'm holding the tone. I'm holding the light for the fifth dimensional self. I ain't got no problem. I'm worthy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. I'm holding the tone. I was made for this. Yeah, I've been ready. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you done released yourself from the survival state of being. You are ready. You are out there already doing it. You done made your clay tablets, and you done made your wallets and everything. You got your, you got your stand store going out there. You writing your poetry. You got your YouTube channel. You're doing it. You're doing whatever you need to do. You putting it out there. For some of us, you don't even care if you make $1 or not, or whatever the case may be. You just like, I'm here. And it ain't got no choice but to work. You already assured. You already assured of yourself. Because you know that you came here on 100 and you're going to leave on 100. Okay? You already know. All right? Now, your sixth dimensional self is the architect you. Okay? That's the version of you in consciousness, right? That the distorted you is the one that is over planning everything. Your mind is still racing, running amok. That's cosmos, okay? Your mind is still over planned. You're controlling, trying to still control everything. You're making stuff, you're creating stuff, but you can't get nothing out. You got a stack full of creations, but you ain't executed nothing yet. Mile High Creations, you got all the drawings and everything, but you ain't putting nothing out. Okay? Got all this shit. I don't know how to do it. Okay? Alright? Okay? But then I also do create, but I do trust in my creations. And I also feel like whenever it's supposed to be, it would be. And I have the clarity of that. So I'm a little bit of both. I do, but the only reason why I will say that I probably do have a lot of stuff, because at the time that I was creating a lot of stuff, I was going through a lot, because I created a lot of stuff when I was in survival state. When I was working at that job, I was creating a whole lot of stuff. So it makes sense why I got a lot of stuff. I can't say I'm downloading right now, okay? I created a lot of stuff when I was in survival state. So that's really, truly why I got a lot of stuff. But right now, I'm in the state that you see me in right now, is trust and clarity. So I got a lot of stuff, yes. But it was created when I was trying to figure it all out. But now I'm in trust and clarity. Okay? I trust the process. Because that's what was being said to me within myself as well. Trust the process. Trust the process. And I told you guys that too. Okay? Now, the 7D dimensional self is the author. Okay? The distorted aspect of, or I would like to say distorted, but I'm going to call it the if and but part of the author is, the version of the author is, or the unsure aspect of the author, seventh dimensional self, is when you keep repeating the same narrative over and over and over again. You done placed yourself in a somewhat of a loop. Okay? But the true author is one that writes from awareness. I actually did that today in my book. Y'all know, well, hey, I bought me a new journal. I love Five Below. I bought me a new journal. Suede, y'all. Suede. And come on here, Cletus. I know that's right. And I'm going to tell y'all what I wrote. I had to shake my own head. Because I was like, wow. 10-10. And I said, my material wealth is a reflection of that I am energetically in truth, in wholeness, for I am Source, who is the author and the architect of all realities, expressed, experienced, known, unknown, form, and without form. And so it is. I just wrote it. Now, I know y'all probably can't see it. And I haven't had a chance to put it in Chat GPT yet. I'm gonna do that when I go pick up my grandbaby and see what it says. But yeah, right? But yes, it's the seventh dimensional self. If they're moving from a distorted perception, they repeat the same narrative, right? But if they are moving from the essence of the non-programmed self, they write a new script from awareness, okay, from remembrance, right? The eighth dimensional self is the builder, right? It's either you're building from lack or you structure your creations from abundance and flow. Now, the ironic thing about that is, I just wrote it. It's a remembrance. And it's true. Once you get into that space of remembrance, it just happens. It's like you remember. The remembrance codes. It just is. Everybody and their mama got it, because you're a source. Source codes. And the ninth dimensional self, the humanitarian. You either give for validation, like you want credit for it. You want everybody to know that you done gave. You around here, got a video, showing everybody you done gave. You want people to know that you done gave. Or you just give to give. You give from flow. You give for, you give for unity. You give because you are abundant. You give from the essence of abundance of the sacred divine self. Because you realize that you're giving of self to self, of that of self, which is still of abundance of self. The abundance of that to which is abundance. Abundant. So the constant overflow of that to which is, will be, always will be. So you know that when you give, you can never run out because you are source. Source, okay, so like I was saying earlier, like when you move from, when I decided to step into my source self, when I remembered that I am source, at every level of consciousness, experiencing myself multidimensionally, when I began to remember that I am source, operating from a expressing multidimensionally, in form. And when I remember that I am abundant in every level of consciousness that I am expressing from, where is there any limitation? Where? So if I gave somebody, if I was to give to the homeless, if I gave somebody $20, or if I give, or if I, if I, the higher mind is now that now that my crown, now that my halo is now illuminated in form. I can never run out of anything for that to which I already am. And when you know this to be, okay, so the trickology is this. When you know this to be, and you fully integrate and you embody it in form, and you embody the light in form, the ninth dimensional aspect, and you stabilize it energetically. So let's say you got your nervous system. You do these breath works and you got your nervous system to acclimate and assimilate energetically, to hold the ninth dimensional self energetically, and you sustain energetically that bandwidth of energy in form. And you hold that tone, that pure tone energetically. How can you ever, your source tone? You will forever be able to pay a water bill. You will forever be able to pay a light bill. You will forever be able to pay any bill out there. It will be as if it is nothing to you. You won't even feel it. It won't be. It would be as if it's nothing, because it's you. You won't even know that you're paying it, because it would have matriculated itself so far down into the hands of that to which you is maybe somebody that's handling it for you. You won't even know that it's being paid or not. You'll know that it's being paid, but you won't be paying it. Yes, golden sugar is just an experience. By that time, it would no longer be your experience, but because you won't be the one going to, the one going to the water bill place paying it anymore. Somebody else will probably be paying it for you. You might have an accountant that's paying it for you, or somebody else will be. It won't be your experience anymore. But we gonna talk more about it. I gotta go pick up my grandbaby and stuff like that. I hope you guys. Oh, thank you for the love fires. I like that. I know I get a little bit excited, and I like to have fun in my lives and everything, to kind of like break the monotony and stuff like that of the seriousness, because it doesn't have to be so serious. It's source, for God's sake. And I know I'm not serious. I love embodying source in a lighthearted way. My brilliant friend writing from spirit. Oh, grateful. Thank you, Mr. Owen. My brilliant friend, my Harvard friend, that give me all these words. You the one. Oh, gosh. But I love being in this space. I'm so grateful, and I'm loving being able to share, my experience with you guys and how I understand my now moment, and being able to be palatable, um, you know, and being able to be transparent and understandable, where you guys can, understand what I'm saying, because that's the most important thing, that I can make references enough where it can make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the most important thing. And so, however it's translated here, like I said, when you guys, come off this live and different things of that nature, when you get into the comment section, light it up with, if if you listen, replay it, or whatever the case may be, you think you missed something or whatever, and you replay it, light the comments up. But once again, before I forget, because I be forgetting to say this part, especially for YouTube, please don't forget, if you have not already, to join the YouTube family and also join the Instagram family. I would like, if not both sides of the equation, to shake hands with each other and grow. I do have some other channels that are out there too simultaneously. I do have another channel called Pi Sovereign Signature that is also in the bio. So each and every channel that you guys see in my bios and in my Instagram, all of my Instagram profiles, on all of my Instagrams, I link all of my Instagram IG profiles to all of the lives that I do. So if you guys want to also subscribe to that Instagram channel, and all of my IG channels, my YouTube channels is also in the bios of the profile. So if you can go to each and every one of those YouTube channels and also subscribe to those YouTube channels as well, so that I can begin to build subscribers over into those YouTube channels as well. Because in truth, I would love to go live over there too as well. But don't forget to subscribe. I would love for you guys to be a part of my family on the YouTube side as well, and also build up the Instagram side, because there's a lot where this came from. This is coming from within, and I'm learning to kind of like incorporate and improvise, with my knowing, to give it a more robust sense of understanding, where people can have a little bit more to hold on to. But I'm more of an authentic person. You're gonna get a lot more of me than paperwork. I still haven't gone through everything. I still got 4 more pages to go through, because I'm more organic than I am paperwork, you guys. So I'm sorry about that, but I do gotta go pick up my grandbaby. But once I may not be able to come back on tonight, because I gotta go to the grocery store and start figuring out how to cook for these kids, because they hit my pockets. They love to eat out. Them kids love to eat out. So I'm finna start trying to make some of these meals. Y'all finna start seeing me I may start showing how to cook some of these off the wall meals or something like that. Now I don't know if I'm doing all that, but I gotta start cooking some of these meals that they like. But yeah, but we're gonna get into it. We're gonna understand the dimensional selves, and how how we create in one-dimensional self, right? We come up with all of these beautiful ideas in the higher mind, and we bring it down. We choose the energetic container of how we want to experience the reality, our creation in. And so the reason why Mr. Over it, I'm grateful. So, the reason why my energy container is probably a little bit lag is because I'm choosing to, I'm not choosing to experience, I'm not choosing to experience wealth in the third dimensional consciousness. I'm not choosing to experience wealth through consumptionary aspects. I'm only choosing to experience wealth in consciousness through collaboration, in consciousness through co-creation. But if I was to choose to experience wealth in the third dimensional container, I probably would have made money by now. But because I'm not choosing to experience wealth in the third dimensional container, frequency container, that's why I'm not making any money, right? So it's going to be a little bit, of procrastinative for me in that regards, because I have some energetic integrity about how I am choosing to experience, and the content of how I want to express. But it's going to happen. It's happening. It's not even going to happen. It's already happening. It's already, because I've already, put it out there. But I wanted you guys to understand how that actually works. So a lot of beings, a lot of the major corporations and different things of that nature just went on ahead and yeah, it is worth the process. Yeah, it's out because I'm into collaborations. I'm into co-creation. I'm not into no competition. I don't see anybody in this field with me as competition. So I'm into frequency integration and collaboration, not in distortion. I'm not a distortionist. So if I pick up on you that you got jealousy, you got all that other kind of stuff, at any given moment that we are in competition or anything like that, no, I don't want to offer those bandwidths into how we collaborate in creation, in co-creation. So that's the integral part of I'm not moving in hustle frequency. I'm not moving in survival frequency. So therefore, anything that I do, it's not housing those frequency containers. It's not housing those energy containers. But I'm going to show you guys how we operate multidimensionally, and why I'm choosing not to, why I'm choosing a different modality in terms of how to, you got to be the example, you know what I'm saying? And to show that it's safe, that you can, if somebody got to do it, because a lot of people are afraid, like that's why they're still holding on to distorted density, because they don't know of anybody yet that is sustaining in without having without operating from third density. And I don't know, and unless somebody come, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm being that lighthouse. I'm always like, okay, somebody show me where you at, so that we could collaborate and say, okay, where is somebody that's on that same frequency bandwidth that has not, that's pure tone. They're not moving from no frequency bandwidth of survival frequency tone, not making money from survival frequency tone at all. They understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. You did not choose third density frequency tone. You're operating from pure tone. Where you at? That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So because people, that's one of the holdbacks and stuff like that in that regards. And so a lot of YouTubers and different things of that nature, they compromise it a little bit so that they can, make a little, and I get it. I understand, because I understand I understand frequency. So there's no judgment. I understand frequency. And so therefore, that's why a lot of architects, consciousness operate, they use the energy source that they use to facilitate what they have created. So just think about it. Whatever I've created in consciousness, within my sixth dimensional self, right? I'm using source energy, third dimensional source energy to facilitate it. That's what source energy. So if I want to use fifth dimensional energy to facilitate it, a lot of people don't feel they're not there yet in their worthiness to feel that they're worthy of, you hear what it's like, they're not worthy, they don't feel worthy yet. So that's the part that we feel that we got to get sustainability in. It has to sustain itself. But let's do the 626 breath work, you guys. And like I said, if you love this live, if you like what this information is giving, if it's clear, palatable, cogent. You can understand it. It's digestible. I'm grateful. Become a part of the family. We would love to have you. Subscribe to the channel. Comment. Let me know how you feel about what is being said, if you understand it, or whatever the case may be. We are truly grateful. And if you feel that this is share worthy, please do not hesitate to share it. I am so divinely grateful. And like I said, all of my information to all of the other channels are in my program profile or my IG, on all of my IGs and everything. And it's just a click and go. You guys can go to each channel and subscribe to each channel. And I'm so divinely grateful. So we're going to do the 626 breath work. And then once we do that, this transmission will be concluded. And we're going to close this container once again within the knowing of the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th dimensional self, in harmony, divine unconditional love, in wholeness and divine oneness, or the divine sacred self, in the abundance of self, in knowing of self, in truth, in the essence of the non-distorted self of pure tone. We are truly grateful to be in this now moment, in the regulation of our nervous system and the stabilization of our energy field in our true authentic self. We are truly grateful, and so it is. And we are going to begin our breath work in the 626. Inhale 6 through the nose, hold for 2, exhale 6 through our mouth, and we're going to do that 3 times, right? And we're going to start now. Okay. Whew. I am grateful. It's worth the process. I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I love you guys immensely. Have a wonderful day. And if I do have time, I'll come back. But if not, I'll see you guys on the next go around. Thank you, Mr. Overett on the YouTube side. I love you guys. I love you guys. Have a wonderful remainder of your evening. Later.